What is Plop and Plop here, back at it again with another TFT patch rundown, this time for patch 12.5. Just to note that this is a long patch. It's lasting for a month rather than the typical 2 weeks. So buckle up for a long patch. Hopefully this is a good one. It is a large patch, so let's get right into it. Highlighting patch 12.5, we got the buffs. We got Bodyguard Enchanter, Brand, Ashe, Gnar, Lucian, Morgana, Ahri, Braum, Draven, Tahm Kench, Galio, along with Fourscore, Tiny Titans, and Woodland Trinket, all getting buffed. For our nerfs, we have Chemtech and Enforcer for our traits. And then for our units, we have Draven, Nocturne, Twitch, Echo, Malzahar, Alistar, Vi, and Bramblevest for the item. Augments also getting nerfed include Battle Mage. All Battle Mages, Chemtech Unity, Concussive Blows, Cybernetic, Disintegrators, Electrocharge, and Luden's Echo. We got Innovator getting a bit of an adjustment. Rucksai is getting a bit of an identity switch, becoming more of a tank, but we'll get into that later. And then we have a new augment being introduced called High Five, along with Second Wind Prismatic tier being removed. They give a little bit of a rundown as to why the long patch. Feel free to take a look at that. I'll put the link in the description down below. Let's start out with the large changes. Large, like the amount of time that this patch will be live for 4 weeks. All right. So we got Toma traits being tailored a little bit different. So instead of 0 to 4 active traits, you now need 0 to 5 for no tailored emblems. For one tailored emblem, you now are required 6 to 7 instead of 5 to 6. 2 is now 8 to 9. 3 tailored emblems is 10 to 11. And 4 tailored emblems for Toma traits, you now require 12 plus active traits. So this is a bit of an overall nerf for Toma traits. Onto the augments. This is again large changes, so be ready for these. Battle Mage 1, 2, and 3 being nerfed across the board. 30 to 25 for tier 1, 45 to 35 for tier 2, and 60 to 50 for tier 3 Prismatic. Chemtech Unity and Concussive Blows are both being changed from silver to gold. Concussive Blows is getting a bit of a buff though, so hopefully that should help them out now being a gold tier. Cybernetic Implants Prismatic tier is getting a bit of a nerf, going from 450 health to 350. And then we all saw this one coming. Disintegrators 1, 2, and 3 are all getting hit with nerfs. Disintegrators felt a little bit strong, so looks like tiers 1 and 2 are being put down 0.5% each, and then Disintegrator 3 is remaining the same at 4%. Moving on, we also have Double Trouble getting hit with some nerfs. AD, AP, Armor, and MR all being nerfed across the board, down from 40 to 30 at tier 1, 50 to 40 at tier 2, and 65 to 50 at tier 3. Electrocharge also getting nerfed across the board for tiers 1, 2, and 3. We got 90 to 60, 135 to 100, and 180 to 160 respectively. Fourscore is getting a bit of a buff with an additional 4 cost unit added. So you're getting 4 instead of 3. That's also 4 extra gold if you don't get what you want. So hopefully that'll put that in a better spot. Future Sight 2, Golden Egg, Radiant Relic options, Radiant Zephyr, all of those. Banish duration is being decreased from 10 to 8. Golden Egg, Radiant options, Sunlight Cape, etc. also have their max health burn being decreased over 30 seconds from 120% to 90%. Moving on, we have Luden's Echo 1, 2, and 3. Luden's Echo was always a pretty big take for most comps. Did a lot of magic damage, so hopefully this nerf will be for the better. At tier 1, we're going down from 135 to 100, 200 to 150 at tier 2, and 275 to 200 at tier 3. We have the new High Five Prismatic. Gain 5 random 5-cost champions. As you can imagine, it would be busted if it was offered in the first 2 augments, so it can only appear as your 3rd augment. Moving on, we got Portable Forge Armory option. Zhonya's is getting a bit of a buff, going from 45 to 50. The Armor and MR is also being buffed from 35 to 50. And then the Invulnerability is also being buffed from 2.5 to 3 seconds. So buffs across the board for Zhonya's. It seems to be pretty good on the likes of Victor, maybe other AP carries like Ahri can use it better, especially with the buffs she's getting. But we'll move on. Second one, 3, Prismatic is being removed. Triforce bonus health being decreased as well across the board from 233 to 133, 333 to 233, and 433 to 333. So that's 100 bonus health decreased at all levels. It can now only be offered if you have 2 or more 3-cost units in play. So you can no longer get this early unless you have 2 3 costs. So just keep that in mind. You will not be offered it unless you have 3 costs. Woodland Trinket clone being increased. I doubt this will make this. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I've never been able to make this augment work. It's being buffed from 250 to 300. That's the highest attack speed unit. So I've never been able to work. I'm not sure I see it working in many comps other than the mutants where when your units die, you know, it provides bonus AP and stuff. But other than that, I don't see it being used in many comps. And most of the times it just gets hit by like a random Zeri or Seraphine or something and just dies anyway. So moving on to the large changes for traits. Bodyguard starting shield. This is really good. Bruisers feel very dominant right now, so Bodyguard's getting a bit of a buff. Will definitely help a lot. In the likes of the starting shield, it doesn't make them too OP. So getting buffed across the board at 2, 4, 6, and 8, going up from 150 to 200, 350 to 400, 700 to 800, and 1200 to 2000 at 8 Bodyguard. Enchanter healing and shield boost along with magic resist getting buffed. Enchanter 2 is remaining the same at 25. Enchanter 3 is getting a 5 heal and shield buff. Enchanter 4 is going from 60 to 70. Enchanter 5 is remaining the same at 100. The magic resist for 2 is going up 5 from 20 to 25. 3 is going up from 35 to 45. 4 enchanters is going up from 50 to 70. And 5 enchanters is going up from 75 to 100. Forcer Stun Duration being nerfed. This is probably really good, as it was really easily able to be put in a lot of comps with Jace, Vi, and Sejuani. Hextech Shield being buffed a little bit, as we know in the last patch for 12.4b. They kind of got nerfed into the ground, so hopefully this will put them in a bit of a better spot early game, especially. So across the board, they're being buffed from 100 to 120 at 2, 150 to 170 at 4, 300 to 340 at 6, and for that 8 tier Hextech, it seems to be remaining the same. Innovators getting a dragon adjustment. The dragon's roar no longer grants 75% critical strike chance. Instead, units buffed by the roar will always crit strike if they are able. Spells still require Jewel Gauntlet / Lotus. Along with that, Hextech Dragon is also getting a roar crit strike damage increase from 10 to 25%. And then the lightning damage is being increased from 500 to 600. Large changes for the units. Starting out with our tier 1s. Brand is back, baby. Brand's base seer damage is being increased from 120 to 135, 160 to 175, and 210 to 235 at 1, 2, and 3 star. And its bonus seer damage is being increased from 150 to 165 at 1 star, and remaining the same at 2 and 3 star. Jarvan getting his attack speed nerfed just a touch, and his starting mana a bit nerfed. Nocturne, Unspeakable Horror Stun Duration, seems to be remaining the same at 1 and 2 star, but at 3 star it's going down from 3.5 to 3. And his damage is also being nerfed a bit at 1 star from 200 to 190, and then buffed at 3 star from 400 to 450. Twitch reroll comp getting nerfed a little bit with the bolt attack damage scaling percentage on Twitch being nerfed at 2 star and 3 star, remaining the same at 1 star. 2 is going from 135 to 130. And 3 stars going from 150 to 140. Along with that, Twitch's piercing bolt base damage is being changed. At 1 star, it's going from 25 to 30. 2 stars remaining the same, and 3 stars going down from 75 to 70. All right, units 2 star. Here it is, the Ashe buff. Volley number of arrows is now remaining the same, 888 across the board. Bit of a buff to 1 and 2 star Ashe. Her range is also being increased for the volley. So it's now her range plus 1 hex. So this is a huge buff. I expect to see a lot more Ashe reroll syndicate comps. Rucksai getting a bit of a change or a bit of a rework here. Spell-based damage no longer scales with AP, and her armor and magic resist are being increased from 40 to 45. Along with that, her resist steal is being removed. And then her heal is getting a bit of a change since it has now it has ability power scaling. It's getting nerfed to compensate for that. So at 1 star, it's remaining the same. 2 stars going down 50, and 3 stars going down 50. And now a new addition here for Rucksai. If Rucksai is already better target, she heals for 250, 350, and 500, which scales with AP health instead. So if she already bit a target, she now heals if she bites that target again. 3-star units. Echo starting mana is being nerfed. There's some more innovator nerfs for you, going from 80 to 60, and his max mana is remaining the same. Gnar is getting a buff for his range of boulder. It's being increased by 1 hex. And then Lucian is getting buffed as well. Pursuit damage going up from 175 to 185, 275 to 295, and 300 to 315 at 1, 2, and 3 star. He's also getting a base health buff going from 650 to 700, and a base armor and magic resist going up from 25 to 30. Malzahar getting a bit of a nerf, going down from 625 to 600, 875 to 825, and 1050 to 950 at 3 star. Senna also getting a nerf. Her attack damage scaling is going from 160% to 150%, and her darkness damage is being nerfed just a touch at both 2 star and 3 star, 125 to 120, and 200 to 180. Now into the tier 4 units. Ahri is getting a bit of love here. Starting mana is being buffed. She'll cast a little bit quicker on the first one, which could help her ramp up a little bit faster. So going from 0 to 30 starting mana, max mana is remaining at 50. And then the angle between each orb is being decreased, which means she'll have multiple orbs hitting more units, or hitting the same unit, I should say. So this is actually a bit of a buff, because the angle between each orb is going to be tighter. You can expect more damage to be hit on a unit. Alistair pulverized damage being nerfed a bit. 200 to 150, 350 to 250, and 1200 to 1000. And then Brahm's Vault Breaker stun duration is being buffed from 1.75 seconds to 2 seconds at 1 star, 2.25 seconds to 2.75, so a half-second buff at 2 star, and 3 star remains the same at 8. Draven range is being increased from 3 to 4, and now he has an innate 25% armor penetration. It's going to end up being the same 50% for the VIP, but now it might feel a little bit better to run the non-VIP Draven. On top of that, his spinning axes scaling is being buffed as well, going from 150 to 170, 160 to 180, and at 3 star is remaining the same at 400. And then his spinning axe base damage is being nerfed a bit just to compensate for all these buffs. So the scaling got buffed. His base damage is going to be nerfed a bit, going from 150 to 120, 200 to 150, and 500 to 400. So overall, non-VIP Draven is getting a bit of a buff, and this probably compensates one another, so probably remaining the same, or if not very similar damage. Renata's Toxic Wave is being nerfed from 45 to 40, 70 to 65, and 240 to 220. Sivir is getting an attack speed buff. That's right, buff. Hextech's kind of in a rough spot after the last patch. So her getting a 0.1 attack speed buff is probably for the better. Last but not least, Vi is getting a bit of a nerf. She's pretty easy to run a lot of comps with that Enforcer Bruiser traits. So her damage is being nerfed from 150 to 125 at 1 star, 225 to 200 at 2 star, and remaining the same at 3 star. And then on top of that, her third cast damage is also being nerfed from 300 to 250 and 400 to 350 at 1 and 2 star, remaining the same at 3 star. Then we have our Golden Charms, our tier 5 units. Here's a bit of a change now, starting out with Galio, Colossal Entrance, max health scaling being increased. We move along here to Kaisa being buffed from 1.1 to 1.2 attack speed. Tahm Kench devour damage on crowd control immune targets going up from 35% to 15%. And then last 5 cost, we have Zeri attack damage being increased from 80 to 85. Big changes for items. Last but not least, Bramble Vest is the only one getting changed. The Crit Strike bonus damage duration is being decreased from 100% to 75%, but we're getting a bit more reflect damage, going from 60 to 75, 80 to 100, and a 120 to 150. We move along to small changes. Augments. Battle Mage can no longer be offered if you're playing 2+ snipers. Dominance can only appear if you won your previous combat or are on a 2+ win streak. Golden Egg and Radiant Relics options, as well as Covalent Spark. The damage is being nerfed from 300% to 275% of max mana. And then Golden Egg and Radiant Relics options. Brink of Dawn or the Radiant Edge of Night. Second stealth health threshold is being increased from 25 to 30%. Golden Gifts can only appear as a second augment. Knife's Edge can no longer be offered if you're playing 2+ Arcanists, Scholars, Snipers, or Enchanters. Portable Forge Armory option, the collector chance to drop more gold is being increased from 50 to 60%. Swift Justice getting a name change to True Justice. Treasure Trove 1 and 2 can now only appear on the first augment. Moving on to traits, Twin Shots getting some bonus attack damage love, getting a buff at 4 from 40 to 45, as well as 5 Twin Shot being buffed from 60 to 80. Ezreal attack damage being decreased from 50 to 45, another innovator nerf. Forky is becoming uncorkied. Bombardment damage going up from 200 to 220 at 1 star, 260 to 275 at 2 star, and 333 to 350 at 3 star. On top of that, Lulu Wild Growth bonus health is also being buffed from 325 to 350, 350 to 370, and 375 to 390 at 1, 2, and 3 star. We got some 3-star units being nerfed and buffed. Morgana Soul Shackles. So she's being buffed at 1 and 2 star, but nerfed at 3 star. We have 425 to 475, 550 to 575, and 750 down to 675. Tryndamere spinning / base damage being decreased across all ranks from 60 to 50, 90 to 75, and 150 to 100. Tier 4 units getting changed. Aurelia attack damage going from 90 to 85. Jin Curtain Call damage scaling being buffed from 150 to 175 at 1 star. 2 and 3 star remaining the same. And Kha'Zix's Arid Assault has been renamed to Void Assault. Jinx Armor and Magic Resist, she's getting a little bit of a buff from 40 to 45, which is fine. And then items Edge of Night health threshold being increased from 50 to 60%. And Static Shiv lightning damage being decreased from 70 to 60. Double Up getting a bit of a change. Team Chat's now here, so you can now message to partners, which is actually a nice change for those of you that play Double Up. Last but not least, we have our bug fixes. Fixed an issue with non-typical mobile login methods that have been causing account lockouts. Fixed an issue with crashes related to brand spanking new phones that we weren't prepared to support. Okay. Hyperroll components MIA. Fixed an issue where players would sometimes get fewer than intended minimum number of components from PvE rounds. Stacking Triforce 2 and 3 augments in the now grant the proper amount of mana. Recombobulator now spawns magnetic removers in the top left corner like other loot augments. One and Done Archangel's Embrace 2 has been renamed to Archangel's Embrace since there's only 1 tier. Okay, very well. Radiant Banshee's Claw Tooltip now specifies that it blocks up to 600 ability power, similar to normal Banshee's Claw. Fixed a bug where Tahm Kench would still consume and deal damage over time to units affected by Silco's unstable concoction without actually consuming and disabling them. Dawn of Nights Enforcer no longer detains units with Radiant Quicksilver or units affected by Radiant Zephyr. Warwick and Mutant Emblem no longer deals more damage than intended. Fixed an issue where Yordle mana costs would not always update immediately as players switch between Yordle 3 and 6. Tahm Kench no longer stuns and deals damage to enemies who escaped his stomach with Edge of Night. Fixed an issue where Cho'Gath Colossus health bonus would not activate the first time Cho'Gath is placed onto the board. Silco no longer casts unstable concoction on a target that's inside of Tahm Kench's belly. Nice. Luden's Echo no longer deals 0 damage the first time a unit is put onto the board. Hextech Debonair and or Striker trait augments can no longer be offered after picking built different. That's pretty good. Soul's Construct fixed an issue causing Innovator Soul to never show up as an augment offering. As always, make sure to like the video. If this helped you learn something, feel free to come by and check out my Twitch. I stream Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesdays around 8:30 p.m. EST. We play TFT, and we are climbing. We're currently in the top 0.3%. I'll put it on the screen somewhere here. But we're masters, like roughly 100 and something LP, hoping to climb to Grandmasters soon. So feel free to come check out the stream. That's it for this one, guys. So see you in the next one. Peace.